All right, so it's my turn to share some stuff. You heard from Matt and you've heard from Chris. I think I know most of the people in this room. I think I've spoken to many of you actually. But my name is Andrew Jardine. I am a customer success technical architect here at Liferay. So I work with Chris and Matt pretty closely, as well as lots of other people, including Mr. Nebinger, one of my old-time friends here at Liferay. So my job as a CSTA, I think I've talked to a lot of you, you know, is to help customers in a variety of ways, whether it's feature demos, presentations, technical product questions, that kind of stuff. I was told to share something interesting about myself, which I really actually struggled to come up with. And so I kind of pulled the room, but since then I've realized there are so many crazy things I could share. One being that my hair is the longest it's been since I was like 7. Normally it looks like this, which is very different than what I have now, hence the hat for the record. So I've had a haircut in like, I don't know what it is, 8 months or something crazy. It's bananas. What else? What else can I tell you? I mean, I guess what am I here for today? My role, I was asked to be the moderator for the Ask Me Anything section of this event. So that's going to happen with Mr. Brian Chan, the Liferay, one of the Liferay founders and the chief software architect. So on that note, I do want to thank everyone for the questions you sent in advance. We'll be going through them, but we also want to open up the chat in case anything comes top of mind that you want to ask. Okay, so we'll try and bounce around between the chat and the canned kind of questions that we had in advance. So with all that said, I think I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Brian Chan, who is going to introduce himself and tell you a little bit about himself, although I'm sure his name precedes him here. Brian, over to you.
Sure. So somebody asked me if I'm at a hotel. Hey, can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me, Andrew. If I was in a hotel room. No, I'm actually in Brazil right now. We have an office down here, and I decided to come down and work with the folks here. So I brought my family here. I just enrolled my kids in Brazilian school. I'm trying to get them bilingual. So in the morning, because we're 5 hours ahead here in Brazil, which is why it's dark for me outside, we are going to Brazilian school, and then at night or in the late afternoon, they go on Zoom calls for their American school. So they're getting 2 doses of school right now.
Wow.
So that's what's up with me right now. They're not happy. They cried Sunday night, and they cry before going to school. But you know, at the end of the day, when we pick them up at school, they're really happy. And my son, who doesn't usually do very well at school, he's kicking butt in class, especially English class.
Oh, yeah. Are they learning Brazilian while they're down there?
Yeah, they're learning Portuguese right now. So, yeah. Anyways, so that's up with me right now in COVID life.
Right. All right. So should we move on to the question?
Let's do it. Let's make this worth everyone's time, and let's get some juicy questions out here.
All right. So the first one I kind of merged. We had a question from Pradeep and from Ivan. So I put them together because they're very similar. And the question kind of goes, have you thought about a version of Liferay in which each module is a microservice and have the portal completely separated into these different services? Or possibly perhaps making an area in the control panel where the different features can be turned on and off based on the ones you need in the solution?
So the former, where we actually extract the jars from each other, we tried that for several years and it just did not work. It's like trying to split a Siamese twin, and just like, it just did not work. We ended up, spending time modularizing that we didn't need to modularize. And especially with the move to Docker, that's really less of an issue, because as long as the thing boots up quickly, whether it takes up 500 megs or 300 megs is not that much of a difference, especially since if a new version comes out, you're only, downloading the Delta. So like what really matters. For the latter, where you can turn things on and off, we are working on that right now. We're going to have a new product, I guess it's a product launch tomorrow. I'll be announcing it, where we'll be doing stuff like that. But it's not for end users to use. I mean, not for people to download, but in our offering that we'll be providing. That's not downloaded. Ooh, what other type of offering would be not downloaded?
You have to sign in tomorrow to find out,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Ooh, what could possibly be the case? Hey,
Okay.
it's late here. We might as well have some fun, right, guys? It's a community
Right,
event.
right.
We could
Definitely.
joke around and have some fun, okay?
Okay, the next one. Oh, this is a good one. So Allah asks, and actually, I don't know if they're on, but they're gonna ask anyway. What is Liferay's market share compared to other or competing portals that are available in the market?
Um, I would like to say that uh, in one sense, we uh, own a corner of the market, and in another sense, we're like peanuts. So when you look at the open source portal space, I mean, we dominate that. Um, but the world is getting a lot larger than just portals, and we really want the larger piece of the pie. And I guess to answer frankly, the way I look at it is, imagine Apple circa 1997, right? You'd say, hey, what market share does Apple have? Of the education market, 99%. Of the desktop market, like 2%, you know? And then they slowly reinvented themselves and became more and more relevant and kicked butt, right? And I feel like that's where we are at as a company right now. We are right in the middle where we're reinventing ourselves, and we've got some really cool stuff coming out. We're leveraging the core base we have and the cash flow we have, and we're gonna pump out some really cool products.
And we're gonna learn more about all that stuff over the next
Yes.
few days at DEVCON.
Yep. Over the next few days.
All right, all right. So Krishna is asking, can you share with us some information regarding Liferay and modern deployment solutions? Specifically, does Liferay work well in containerized environments and with tools like K8s for orchestration?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We design first for containers now. So personally for me, when I develop, I will often not even run ant all. I'll just have my latest nightly container image up, and then I'll deploy the module I want on it. You know, it's like 20 seconds or however long it takes to download, 20 seconds to boot up, boom, and then I can deploy on top of it. Our entire Diggsby cloud offering is built on top of Kubernetes. So you can just run Liferay on Kubernetes, configure a few things, and it works without having any thought about it, flawlessly. So seamlessly. That's a word. You know what? I've been having trouble coming up with English words right now because I'm trying to learn Portuguese. So I was trying to say seamlessly, and I couldn't say it, but the word came out.
If you want to impress everyone, start spitting out some
No.
Portuguese here and there.
No. That's okay. It's late, and I'm done with Portuguese for the day. I want to speak in English. So.
Okay. I might butcher this name, but Vinuthan, I think is how it's said. Are there any plans for Liferay to leverage a microservice-based architecture, for example, deploying each module to a separate Docker container, or perhaps taking advantage of a serverless architecture?
Serverless is something we're looking at. Putting the microservice across different things, I would be very careful with that because people don't take into account network traffic. You know, there's a good reason your stomach is inside your body, and everyone has their own stomach. It would really suck having stomach as a service. You know, imagine every time you eat, you go out to this other machine that then processes it into nutrients and then sucks it back into you, right? It's not very convenient. Like imagine you want to go on an airplane and take this thing with you. Anyways, the whole point is when you go microservices, you don't want to go all the way to an extreme. Certain things you want to contain, right? And Liferay itself, we have lots of endpoints, and we see it as one endpoint. You know, certainly if you wanted to do document processing that Liferay provides out of the box, you can shove that into a separate service, and that makes sense. But to take all the 1,000 microservices we have currently that weave with each other inside the VM with no network traffic and add network traffic to it, that would be terrible. So we're not going to do that.
I have to say the stomach analogy is probably the most interesting way I've ever heard that described. But it's good because I think
you want your own stomach. You want your own stomach right there in there. No network traffic out. Keep it in there. So
Good point. I think the only time I might not want my stomach is if I have the flu. Then I would probably prefer to have someone else's stomach. But outside of that situation, I think, yeah, my own stomach is probably best.
okay, you can do that. I always want my own stomach. Even when I'm sick, I want my own chicken noodle soup. I want to taste it. I want to feel it warm in my tummy. No,
Fair enough.
thank you. I'm not pushing that outside to a different network.
Okay, Gulam's asking, how does Liferay plan to change its licensing model so that it can accommodate users who are planning to work with containerization? So kind of along the same vein as what we've been talking about.
Yeah, so a lot of our licensing was, I would say, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like kind of draconian. And I think we're trying to ease it up and make it more friendly. And there's a whole team that deals with licensing. And frankly, I don't really pay attention to that. I just say, hey, make users happy, change it. I know some changes happening. I'm focused much more on, hey, can we make some cool stuff that people want to use? So,
Right. Yeah, and I
well,
have actually,
oh no, go ahead, Andrew.
oh, I was going to say, I've been on calls actually with Matt and Chris and AMs and stuff. And that was my wife, by the way, uh, who have talked about, I think, a new kind of model that we have to support people who are moving to this.
Yeah, it's like a file system based one. I'm not sure exactly, but I know it's happening and it's going to come out. So,
Gotcha. Okay. James is asking, portals have always been great at integrating external tools for work/collaboration. Does Liferay plan to expand these capabilities to include popular tools like MS Teams and LinkedIn? How do you see Liferay evolving in this space?
so our main focus going forward in the next few years. I don't know if Brian Chung has announced this, and I hope I'm not stealing his thunder. But our laser sharp focus is going to be on self-service portals that deal with commerce, because we feel that intersection really fits well with what we do. As far as collaboration goes, it's not our main focus. We have collaboration where it supports self-service customer portals with commerce stuff, and that branches out to insurance, banking, even schools, governments. Lots of verticals will have that kind of thing. But tomorrow we'll be announcing a new product where eventually people will be able to do these targeted solutions. And we would expect our partners who know that space better than us to be able to come up with some cool solutions they can deploy on top of Liferay.
Right. And I guess with all these open APIs and these, the fragments capabilities of the product now, it's become even easier to kind of tap into these other cool stuff in, right?
Yeah. So we see Liferay as even more of a Swiss Army knife, and then we're going to have one specific solution of using that Swiss Army knife, or you can look at it as like a granite. We're going to make David out of it. Really cool Michelangelo David. Someone else may make a Bernini's Angels or whatever, but we'll make it super easy to carve so that you can do, whatever granite marble statue you want.
Cool. Okay, what else we got here? All right, Jake's got a two-parter. The first part is, it can be difficult to explain to users how many of the features in Liferay work and when they should use which feature. For example, web content versus fragments, or content pages versus widget pages, etc. Are there any plans to clean up or simplify the information architecture and create a more streamlined and straightforward user experience?
Yes. And that's part of my announcement tomorrow, where our goal is to make it so that we're missing a bunch of this glue. When we built Liferay, we kind of are nerdy, and we built these tools that are very engineering centric, and we didn't think about users as much. And we realized we've given too many options. And so we're going to streamline those options and present a best practice on top of Liferay. Here, you want to do this is how you do it. And it's as simple as possible. But yeah, we're investing heavily into that to stress that specific use case. Thanks for asking that.
I got a follow-up question here from Gulam I'm going to share from the chat. He's asking about the 7.3 documentation. Specifically, 7.3 is out. It's been out for a few months now, but the documentation for it is still a little bit light on Help Center. Do you know how soon or how long we have to wait to get a more robust, let's call it, set of documentation?
Yes, our documentation is behind. We are making features faster than we can document them, and I'm not happy about that. Our focus really is less on Help Center for documentation, but more on learn.liferay.com. And we shifted our focus away from from specific versioned documentation to having one set of documentation with clarification of how something applies in a specific version of Liferay. So, hey, this is how web content works. Oh, if you're in 7.3, here's the additional features you have. If you're in 7.2, you don't have that. That kind of, instead of having a 7.2 documentation, that's completely separate from 7.3. And so far, our user guide stuff is like 95% complete, but our dev docs for it are way behind. It's part of my OKR this year to ramp up our teams around the world to get that completed. I honestly cannot go to sleep. Well, I can go to sleep. I sleep very well, but it's just metaphorically, it bothers me that our documentation is so far behind. Andrew Jardine, are you frozen or am I frozen here?
Oh, I think we lost. I think we lost
Andrew Jardine.
Yep. So I'll jump in if that's okay, Brian.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, no problem.
Was this planned?
It's like we did a dry run or something, you know?
Man. Super
Great.
Cool, Matt.
Yeah. All right. So this question is from Scott. And Scott's question is, as a developer in the US, I'd like to know if there are plans to make Liferay more prevalent in the US. Liferay seems to have a lot of popularity in Europe, but in the US, we're often challenged. And that's why it's sometimes perceived as a niche product.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with your assessment. And you know how David Hasselhoff is like a pop star in Germany? Have you guys heard about that? But like nobody thinks of him as a singer here, right? That's kind of like us. Like for some reason, we have a huge traction in different parts of Europe. And we don't have that in America. And I've kind of tried to analyze why for that. And I think the only thing I can think of is, I think the people who made this product, we were never the cool kids in school. And then worse than that, we never hired other cool kids. We just kept attracting guys who are really shy and don't really like to talk about ourselves and all our features. And, but we've known about this for, a few years. Every time I go to DEVCON in Europe and I do a conference here in America, it's like night and day, And we just have to reinvent ourselves and do a push here, We have some ideas of how to do that, and we're hoping to implement them in the next 18 months or so.
That's awesome. And part of our little dry run was to go back and forth. So until we gain Andrew back, I'll ask a question that actually comes from our own Andrew Jardine here. Brian, are there plans to improve the migration/upgrade process between versions?
Yes. We are trying to get, in one of our new offerings, we're trying to get rid of that completely. We're going to make upgrades all magical, and you will never have to upgrade again. That's one of the magical things we're hoping to do. But for people that can't get on that offering, Greg Amerson from the tooling team has been sucking in data to try to create an easier upgrader for it. But yeah, I know that upgrading is such a pain. We've been at it for years. We're starting to do our incremental improvements, so we're doing a leapfrog improvement this year.
Awesome. Thank you.
Did I answer the questions too quickly? Sorry, I just am always impatient. So I'm impatient with myself.
No, this is great. This is like extra credit included already, so we'll take it. This is awesome. I think Matt has the next one.
Yeah, so I'll actually, Ghulam, thank you. Good questions. Ghulam's feeding them in good. I'll relay this. One more question is from the roadmap standpoint, from a Liferay bundle. It's very large in size. Do you feel that there may be a possibility to make one big jar file? Is that a feasible option?
One big jar file for.
And Ghulam, how about would you like me to unmute you, Ghulam? And you can, there you go.
Yeah, sure, Brian. So, so the Liferay bundle size, I feel, is very large. That ships out of the box, and then on top of that, we install the hotfix, and then our size goes crazy. So I just wanted to know what is our roadmap for that one. When I say big fat jar file like a Spring Boot app, right? They have inbuilt server inside that one. So ideally, if you provide one fat jar file, right, even though it's big in size, we just replace it every time and don't do anything else. Is that an option here?
For Liferay portal itself, or for the we haven't, interesting. We haven't thought of that. I have been talking to our patching team to get rid of the sizes, and they've been working on that the last 2 years to get rid of that duplicate sizing. But I will think about that. That's like the antithesis of modularity, but it's the right approach because it's super easy to use. It's just one jar.
Yeah, and this thing will definitely greatly help in containers because you are just dealing with one jar file, nothing else.
Yeah, and who cares if you're updating, 500 megs? Like at the end of the day, just close your eyes.
Size doesn't matter. You have just one file to manage, and you just swap out that one. And on top of that, the another question which relates to this is that for hot fixes, we just get the zip file and we install with the patching tool. I believe with hotfix also, there should be a Liferay bundle so that we can easily replace rather than going through process of patching tool. Because honestly speaking, we might install using patching tool, but if something is going wrong, nobody uses patching tool revert. Everybody just restores from their backup, right?
Yes.
So with hot fixes also, I believe whatever comes out of Liferay should come as a bundle. So that traditional way of applying patching tool is something I think we should get rid of. Thoughts on that?
Yep. I completely agree with you. Points taken. I'm going to go back to our team and assess that. But yeah, those are good points. And that's actually my natural instinct is what you just said too. I just want it to work. Least resistance, Thank you for those points.
Yep, thank you, Brian. Yeah, I think having one jar file will really make our life very easy.
Thanks, Cole.
Okay, thank you.
Or one container URL each time, just up the URL.
Yeah.
Would that do the trick? And then you overlay your stuff on top of that Docker URL ID.
Yeah, that is also we can do.
That's the same thing, right? That's the same thing, no?
Yeah, but if the jar file is there, even though creating new containers won't be difficult thing because all you care is just one putting the jar file, nothing else.
Okay.
You don't do all those different stuff. You just put the jar file in new container and it's up and running.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, Andrew, we saved the day for you. You're back on.
So that's 1 point for us, and it's still like 1,000 for Andrew. So we're gonna have to have more meetings.
Well, he's talking on mute though, so we'll take another point.
Take my head in shame. Did we cover Jake's number 2 or no?
We did not actually.
We did not. All right. Sorry about that, guys. And my Mac has this thing where it just decides I've had enough fun for the day, and it just turns my network off, and I have to reboot my machine to get it back. I don't know what it is. So Jake number 2 says, what insights from the roadmap can you share about expanding front-end flexibility and theming to make it easier to maintain clean and manageable SaaS CSS? Are there any plans to have increased separation between the site themes and the admin themes? And I think that last part, Brian, might be a reference to when you go into the portlet configuration menu, how it uses the control panel theme, not the theme for the site. Oh, are you on mute?
We have the host unmuted you. Oh, thank you. Thanks for muting me. That's really cool that you asked that question because Jake, thank you, Jake. It's nice when you're building a product and you have a product timeline in place and the very things you're building are the things that people are hinting at. Hey, aren't you going to do this next? It gives us comfort that we're going down the right path. So I really want to get rid of the whole, you have to develop separate themes. we're really trying to focus on a SaaS version of Liferay where it's just everything is configurable. And what you're saying there is exactly where we're investing in, so that people can deploy stateless apps and just connect to Liferay, deploy to Liferay, and keep it separate so that we can just build more stuff faster with less tooling. But yeah, what you're saying is exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
We're going there.
And I think, yeah, we started to see the beginnings of this with 7.3 and the style books and master pages.
Yep. It's like evolving. It's like, oh, okay, that's what you're going to build next. Yes, right. That's exactly right. And we're going to put that on steroids for 7.4. If that was like a elementary school kid, the next one's going to be this high schooler. You know,
without the attitude, hopefully, right?
Without the attitude, but with all the acne, you know.
Oh, right.
So it'll take some time, and then next version will be this college kid. So
nice.
All right, with less acne.
Scott is saying, as a developer in the US, I'd like to know if there are plans to make Liferay more prevalent in the US.
We did this one.
Liferay
yeah, we did that one.
Not to cut you off. Sorry, we did that one.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
All right. Oh, I see now someone's graying them out for me. Thank you. Let's see. How about why doesn't DXP Cloud have a CE offering?
The CE off, I see like because we decided not to differentiate by bugginess, but to differentiate by features. So CE is not buggy, but it has fewer features than DXP. So we didn't want to go down the bugginess route because as an open source user, I want my stuff to work. And if I feel that the open source version is not good enough, I'll pay for it. But even that, our model is shifting now towards we'll host it for you and we'll make it easier for you so that we're not making money so much off of features, but off of saving you time. Does that make sense? Right. So we're slowly shifting toward that. I mean, I want to shift toward that, you know, just host it for us, boom, move it forward.
And would that include, you know, upgrading and all that kind of stuff as well? Or would that
that's yeah.
To... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Question
yeah, we would maintain all the upgrading. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, question about the message boards. Is there a plan in the forums? Just give you a hint here, Brian. This is my question because it's like a bugbear of mine. And I know David would share this one with me if he came off mute. New message boards feature, the Ask application. Are there any plans to reintroduce a way to see the most recent posts across all categories?
Yes. I mean, we have a couple 100,000 messenger posts, and then we converted it from the existing traditional forum style to more of a Stack Overflow, which allows the most popular ones to bubble up, but it doesn't make it so that new ones get the light of day. And that was a horrible oversight on our part. And it's on the backlog, and I think it's going to get done within a month or so.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And we'll get that deployed up. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Now
you guys are asking questions that are so superficial and easy. I'm expecting juicy ones that make me sweat. Come on, guys.
Okay.
Let's have some fun here.
I don't know if I have a good one here. Let's see.
I don't need alcohol to have fun. I can have fun just by, you know, being tired.
In 2019, you announced. In 2019, you announced at DEVCON that engineering was going to be answering questions on Ask, and that they were going to be tracked and traced and evaluated on how many questions they were responding to. Do we have an update on whether that's happened?
That is on my mind, and it's absolutely happening. There's two reasons we haven't done it yet. First is when we switched our Forms app from the traditional one to ask.liferay, ask.liferay.com, which is much more like Stack Overflow, we rewrote the front end in React. We made one massive boo-boo when we did that. Because it's rendered client side now, Google was not happy, and it stopped indexing our messenger posts, our new ones. And we've spent the last 6 weeks frantically trying to do it. And we had one team working on it, which did not solve the solution. And another team saw it and solved it very, very quickly. So that problem kicked our butts. And the other problem is the fact that the moderators weren't able to answer the questions the way they used to. We took away a tool they were comfortable with a newer tool that's supposed to be better, but they're not used to. But once that's done, then we're going to start working on the tracking thing. So we ended up losing 2 quarters because of those issues of time. But once that happens, I'm definitely making it OKRs for all of our engineers to answer and facilitate.
Okay. I think Ghulam's got another one for you. And if you want a zinger, I think this might be it.
Uh-oh.
Ghulam, I'm going to come off mute and throw the question out.
Oh, do you want me to tell the question?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I can take this laser. So, Brian, we are using Liferay since 2011. So in Liferay 2011, we started with 6.0. In 2014, 6.2 came. So we did migration from 6.0 to 6.2 in 2014. And as of today, this month, we are kicking the project of migration from 6.2 to 7.3. Now, whatever upgrade process we went through from 6.0 to 6.2 in 2014, exactly same process I am going through right now. So what is our roadmap for Liferay upgrade process? Because from 7.3 onwards, I want easy life for myself, that just few clicks and I'm there.
You're forcing me to just divulge it. I don't care. Okay, so we're going to launch a new product this year. We're going to call it Liferay Online. Okay, and basically what we're realizing is we got to reinvent ourselves. And I want to make we're going to make a new offering, 7.4 and above. First, we're going to allow traditional users of Liferay, which have okay, let me backtrack. Liferay is very good at solving complicated problems. Liferay is complicated at solving simple problems. Okay, that basically forces us to be a niche market for people who have complicated problems. Now, the good news is people who have very complicated problems love us because we solve their complicated problems and no one else can, right? And that allows us to, pay our bills and feed our children. But I want us to be able to do that and solve people with simple problems and gradually bring them up the scale. So we're gonna give them crack, okay? So maybe that's very insensitive. Okay, I take that back. I shouldn't say crack. Okay, we're gonna give people candy. Okay, maybe even that may be insensitive. Whatever, you guys get the point. Okay, guys, we're gonna give them something that they want, which will provide value very, very quickly. That gets people addicted in a positive way. Okay, to green beans and organic kale. Okay,
I would say gratification, Brian.
Gratification bribe. Okay, so we're going to focus on that, and that's a push that I'm focused on with a few leaders, and the goal is, the problem is once we have this product in line, it's going to be magical in a few ways. You're never going to have to upgrade again. The problem is, in order to make it so you can never upgrade again, I have to take away a certain set of power. By taking away a certain set of power, it's not going to fulfill everyone's needs. So for temporarily, we're going to say, hey, use our existing product. And then here's a new version of our product, but each quarter, we're going to make it better and better. So eventually, it'll never do 100% of our existing product, but it'll do 70, 80% of it. And maybe your organization, that's all you guys need. And if not, let's say you guys need 81%. I want to know what that 81% is. And we're going to shove it into the product, and we're going to find a way to get in there so that we can get your case on, because I don't want you to feel the pains of upgrade in the future. So I want to just give you joy and happiness, no pain in upgrades.
Can I ask a question on top of that, Brian? So we just went through a major upgrade from 6.2 to 7.2. It took us a year and a half to do it. It was extremely, extremely painful. We got a lot of help from Liferay. We got a lot of help from Andrew and some other folks. And one of our biggest pains is we've customized the heck out of your product. And we love it by doing so, but we've customized the heck out of your product, and it's just impossible to keep up, keep that coordination going. Whenever there's an update, it's something that we need to check across our stuff. We come up with a system, but it's still very painful. Would this new system or new thing that you're talking about really solve this problem?
Yes, the reason is because in the past, our main focus was features and allow you to extend it. Now, the fact that you've extended it, we don't know how you've extended all of it because there's thousands of entry points. Then what ends up happening is when we want to upgrade, oh my goodness, we removed 200 of them because, you know, we did give you one version to deprecate it, but you skipped like 2 versions or 3 versions. At that point, it's just going to be hard, right? So what I want to do instead is focus on the features and then focus on, not focus so much on features first, but take the existing features and say, how do I get the integration points? So one of our first steps is we have lots of deployments of Liferay itself within Liferay. Liferay.com, Liferay.dev, you know, a bunch of other internal sites for HR, sales, et cetera, you know, businesses, groups, et cetera. And all of those have Liferay installations that are painful to upgrade and contain custom modules. And I want to know what set of things people need to customize. And we're gonna make all that out of the box. No customizations, just clicking. And the minute we have that and you're on our system, we're not going to release a new version of our product unless your stuff upgrades seamlessly and works. And when it upgrades seamlessly and works, then we'll release a new version of the product. That's the only way we can guarantee it. But that's our goal. I want to fix it that way once and for all.
I think that's actually a great segue to the last question for today. And that last question is, now that, you know, Liferay started this new rapid release cycle kind of process, we see 7.3's out. When are we going to see the first cut of 7.4?
I wanted it in January. Okay. Yes, I wanted it in January. We screwed up because and that's actually why I'm here in Brazil too, fixing that. We were, one of the teams was behind in their due dates. We have DDM, we have forms, we have app builder, we have WEM, and the way structures and templates. That was all supposed to be unified. And the unification process is finally happening in this release. So under the hood, it's all the same thing instead of having 4 different versions of something that's very, very similar. And we just needed extra testing for it. And so we gave ourselves an extra 3 months to make that happen. I'm hoping to have it, but because we screwed up on 7.4, not being released on time, we're doing another 7.3, which we're making, which is actually right about to be released. I'm supposed to sign off on it right after this call. So we'll have a GA7 for 7.3, and then GA4 will come out shortly from now, end of March to early April.
All right. Well, in that case, it sounds like letting you get off the phone is pretty important to all of us. So I think
it's actually more important to my family. So.
That too. So I just want to say thank you, Brian, for taking the time here. I know how busy you are, but thanks for taking the time to meet with us and answer our questions. Hopefully we get to see you again tomorrow at DEVCON. Hopefully everyone here signs in to listen to your talk. I think it's going to be a lot of awesome information for people.
Hey, I just want to thank you guys for jumping on. Your time's precious. And thank you for investing in Liferay, and to my commitment to never waste that effort. Okay, we're working hard. We're going to make Liferay kick butt. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Good. Thanks, Brian.